I call Chris Bishop.
Start of my speech mount a staunch defence of my friend and colleague David Bennett. David Bennett is a superb chair of the Finance Expenditure Committee, a man who has defeated Labor's best talent over the years: Cliff Allen, Sihai Orgad, Sue Moroney, Diane Yates, a sitting member. No man would rise to the heights that David Bennett has risen in this House, sir, if it wasn't for talent by defeating such luminaries of the Labor Party as Sue Moroney and Diane Yates. He does a superb job as chair of the committee, as Mr Robertson well knows, and I take his remarks as the tongue-in-cheek remarks which they were no doubt intended. So I'm looking forward to examining this committee on the Finance and Expenditure Committee because, quite seriously, sir, it is an important measure that the government is advancing to make our tax system simpler and easier to navigate. We have a very good tax system in New Zealand. It is broad-based. It is of a relatively low rate, probably too high, but a relatively low rate. A broad-based system that has won plaudits, rightly, sir, around the world for its navigability, its simplicity, and the way in which it can be easily used by people. Sir, we have an excellent tax system, but that doesn't mean we should stand still and congratulate ourselves all the time for what a wonderful system it is. We need to keep up to date, and we need to modernise the tax system, and that's exactly what the business transformation program that the Inland Revenue Department is undertaking is all about. And sir, on the Finance and Expenditure Committee, we are keeping a watchful eye on that program, which has been being overseen by Todd McClay, and we are going to make sure on that committee, sir, that that very large program of change that the IRD will be undertaking over the next 5 to 7 years is implemented well, because New Zealanders deserve a well-functioning tax system. So, just in my brief remarks, I want to just point to a couple of things that I'm particularly interested in this bill. It's a very wide-ranging bill. It's an omnibus bill that affects a number of acts, sir, most notably the Income Tax Act 2007. But I'm particularly interested, sir, and I know people watching out there at home will be interested in the amendments that the bill makes around tax refunds. Because people will know at the moment that there's a reasonably cumbersome process that exists around getting automatic tax refunds. So what this bill does, sir, is it proposes an amendment to allow earlier tax refunds based on personal tax summaries that meet the automatic refund threshold, reducing the waiting time from 30 to 15 days, so halving the waiting time, and increasing the threshold for automatic refunds from $200 to $600, sir. And the advice that's before the House is that this will help approximately 400,000 people per year benefit from these changes. So, it's a minor and small amendment to a variety of legislation to make that happen. But actually, that will have a real effect on the day-to-day lives of New Zealanders, people who pay secondary tax, people who, for whatever reason, pay at a higher rate of tax than they otherwise should do throughout the course of a year. I remember as a student, sir, often getting a tax refund for a variety of different reasons, and it does make a difference receiving a bit of money back at the end of the financial tax year every year. Sir, it means adjusting this legislation is the right thing to do if it means that we can halve the amount of time that people have to wait to receive a tax refund. So other things that the bill does have been referred to by my colleague Grant Robertson already. Very useful changes around electronic signatures, sir, allow for documents such as tax returns to be filed with electronic signatures. Again, a sensible, a pragmatic and a prudent change, and something that I would hope, sir, would have the unanimous support of the House. There's also some very interesting provisions in the legislation, sir, around biometric validation. I note that the IRD is going to be running a trial with other departments to see whether or not voice recognition software can be trialled for the use of approval of documents. And I think, sir, that's going to be an interesting thing to ponder. So this is a good bill. I think it will have the widespread support of the House. The Finance and Expenditure Committee, ably chaired by David Bennett, is going to do a good job of examining it in further detail. I commend this bill to the House.